Welcome back to PR After Hours. I'm your host, Alex Greenwood, bringing you your weekly cocktail of PR and marketing tips that will help you and your business. Stick around, we'll get started right after these messages. Hello, listeners. It's me, Alex, from PR After Hours. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. And I wanted to talk to you just for a moment about the way I get this show right into your earbuds every week. It's because I use Anchor FM. Now, I've told you previously that I've been podcasting since 2006, back when we used stone knives and bear skins and a couple of Dixie cups and string. Anchor FM has really streamlined this and made it simpler for people who don't know the first thing about setting up a podcast or don't have, time to learn all the pro tools and stuff, because it's all right here. First thing it's important to know is it's free. There are certain tools that will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. That's huge. Distribution is a big pain in the butt, to be honest with you, so it's really great Anchor FM can do that for you, and you're not paying hosting fees. That adds up every month. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place, so download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started, and be sure to join me in the virtual cocktail lounge on PR After Hours. Voting isn't just going to the polls on election day anymore. Options like early voting, mail-in voting, and ballot drop boxes are available to more voters and are growing in popularity. How to Vote, a tool created by Democracy Works, breaks down the options your state offers for casting a ballot, empowering you to decide when and where to vote. Democracy works best when we all vote, but misinformation and confusion about election procedures have resulted in low voter turnout. How to Vote, a tool created by Democracy Works, takes the guesswork out of the voting process. It's easy to use and helps folks from all over the country overcome many of the process barriers to voting. Democracy Works is committed to helping you vote no matter what. Their tool, How to Vote, does just that. So decide when and where you'll vote this year at howto.vote. People are at home more because of the COVID-19 pandemic, right? But they're also online more via social media platforms, and they're looking for interaction and connection. And this presents an opportunity for savvy brands and marketers. So I've got this infographic that the really nice folks at ksmmedia.com put together for me, and I put it on the main page of my company, AGPR, on the blog. I'll put a link in the show notes. It's a cool little infographic. Take y'all a couple of minutes to read and look over, but there's a few bits and pieces I'll share with you here. And again, I won't read you the whole thing. I'll just kind of whet your appetite, then put a link in the show notes. Just a little quick shot for you. They're talking about Facebook. The quarter just before COVID-19, Facebook had 1.65 billion daily users. That grew by 77 million to 1.73 billion daily users in Q1. That's an 11% increase year over year. Average time spent per day increased from 33 minutes to 34 minutes. That's about a 4.3% increase. 89% of Facebook's advertisers have changed their budget due to COVID-19. The cost per thousand impressions dropped below $2 for the first time. All right, well, you can't talk about Facebook without talking about Instagram, right? Well, the average number of users remained steady pre and post-COVID, 500 million a day. Average time spent per day increased from 26.3 minutes to 29.9 minutes. That's a 14% increase year over year. And use of IG Live increased by 70%, which is huge. Advertising spend increased by 39% year over year. So that's pretty great. There's more information about Snapchat, and there's, of course, TikTok. I'll go down to the one that I use more often is Twitter. Number of active users increased from 134 million a day to 166 million per day. That's a 24% increase year over year. Ad engagement increased by 25% compared to last year. So that kind of opens the door to influencer marketing, and they've got a little bit on that. Before COVID, 93% of marketers use social media influencers. 87% of shoppers were inspired by influencers to make purchases. Now, during COVID, this was interesting. 19% feel influencer content has been tone deaf or unhelpful. Include me in that. I'm pretty much the same boat with that. 82% of shoppers have purchased or are considering purchasing a product or service after seeing friends, family, or influencers post about it. And 61% trust recommendations from a friend, family member, or influencer on social media. Seems to me that people are listening to people they know and love, probably the people who probably have the same amount of money they do. I just don't see something being put out there by influencer or some actor or somebody else and just go, oh, I must have it. And I think that that's the way a lot of people are behaving right now during COVID. I mean, there's just so many factors at play there. But anyway, there's a lot more in this infographic, and it's at alexgpr.com. The link is in the show notes. Just want to share that new social scene infographic with you. Love to know what you think about this. Leave me a message, a voicemail. It's really simple to leave me a voicemail. The instructions are in the show notes at prafterhours.com. Even though this is a presidential election, and boy, can anybody forget that it's a presidential election? There are many more candidates on the ballot besides the president, and they're all important. So go to Ballot Ready for a nonpartisan guide to your entire ballot. From there, you can compare candidates based on stances on issues, biography, or endorsements, and then save your choices to use when you vote by mail or in the voting booth. You can even request your absentee ballot or make a plan to vote early or on election day. This election matters. Make sure you have a plan to vote and vote informed. This year, with changes to polling places and vote by mail laws as a result of COVID, it's more important than ever to have a plan to vote. 30% of voters take the time to vote and then leave some part of their ballot blank. This is a missed opportunity to choose the leaders of our communities. Hey, it's okay if you're unfamiliar with some of the more local positions. I know I don't know everything when I get in there, but I try to. And that's why I recommend hosting a ballot party. Get together with friends over Zoom, split up the research, and go through your ballots together. Go to ballotready.org and enter your address to make a plan to vote and vote informed. Oh, you know what that means? Looks like it's last call here at your virtual lounge for PR news, views, and interviews. Don't forget, you can ask me a question anytime. You can do it through our Twitter account, which is @HoursPR, or even better, you can send me a message vocally. I would love to hear your voice, and I'll answer it on the show. There's a link in the show notes. All you have to do is sign up through Anchor FM. It's free, doesn't take long. And you record your message, I get the message, I will play your audio, just give me your first name and the city you live in, and then I will answer the question to the best of my ability right here on the show. Don't forget to, if you're enjoying this podcast, you can support it and help increase the frequency and value of the show. Just consider being a sponsor for your brand or your agency or just yourself because you're like, I like this show. Or just drop a few coins in the virtual tip jar. Either way, there's links in the show notes. Please check that out. All of that, of course, being in the show notes where you're listening right now or at prafterhours.com. I see that they're turning up the lights. Last call is over, and I've got to clean up this virtual lounge. And until next time, I'm Alex Greenwood, and you've been listening to PR After Hours on Anchor FM.